Hello and welcome. You tune into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Vinny Motiwala. This is the show where we take you through all the stocks that are buzzing away in trade, either on the back of research or on the back of technicals. But first up, let's take a look at where the markets are at. Vinny, a somber Friday coming in after those record highs, this 25,000 mark yesterday. We are seeing a bit of a profit booking coming in today.
Absolutely. So yes, we are seeing some bit of a decline coming in, and given that how the global markets have also performed, India is not performing that bad, right? Because S&P 500, Nasdaq, all of them have seen sharper cuts coming in. India is as of now seeing a cut of almost 1% in trade. So Nifty is down 1%, mid and small cap slight bit of an outperformance versus the benchmark indices. Mid cap up down 0.6%, small cap down 0.4 or 0.5%, 0.5% is what we could say. Time to make that comeback towards the green mark, but yes, nothing exciting that's happened. They have remained in the red range for a while and opened up in the red as well, the markets today. So yes, Nifty 24,778 is what it's holding on to. A lot of movers in trade that today we've seen, especially Zomato, Info, all of them buzzing in trade today. But yes, we'll take you all through all those numbers in the show, as well as later on we'll talk about the technicals as well. But let's talk about Ratan India Enterprises. That's a stock that we are keeping an eye out on. And why is Ratan India Enterprises in focus? Now recently Revolt Motors had secured an approval for its EV subsidy from EV subsidy from the government of India. When you'll pull up the charts of it also, we've seen a spike up coming in Ratan India Enterprises on that day as well. But to talk more about that, let's bring on board the management of Ratan India Enterprises. We do have Anjali Ratan, who's joining in with us, the co-founder and chairperson person at Ratan India Enterprises this afternoon. Anjali, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in with us on ET Now. It's a pleasure having you on the show. I want to start by talking about this approval of the EV subsidy that you've received from the government. What does it mean for the company? What is it that you're watching out for in terms of synergies for sales, profitability? How does this shape up for the company?
See, this is an excellent news for Revolt Motors, and I'll explain you how. Because of the subsidy being stopped by the government, because of earlier issues, we had to pay almost like 51 crores to the government for the past, and now we are clear for any other future subsidy, or right now also what the subsidy is going on, and we qualify for everything for the future. It's a great news for the company and our customers as well, and explain you how we get the subsidy from the government, and the customer also gets from the state. And if we are not getting any subsidy as a company, in many states, even the customers are not able to qualify for that. For now, I will be directly giving the 10,000 discount subsidy that we are getting from the government to our customer, and the customer also benefits from the state as well. And it depends on the state. For example, like Delhi state gives subsidy for EV vehicle purchase. So is like Gujarat. So that will be a good benefit for the customers. Right. And it will promote EV in the country.
Right. Anjali correctly mentioned that you will be passing on the benefits to the consumers, and of course it will impact the demand also. But speaking of the demand, what are the demand trends that you are witnessing pan-India?
You mean demand trends for EV per se, or
that's
like
correct.
For the demand trend in EV, when I talk about the bike or the scooter, the two-wheeler, it's picking up very, very well. I think more than even it was anticipated. I think there are two reasons behind that: the increasing prices for the fuel, and it is a big benefit for the country as well that we are not importing fuel for all these vehicles, and we are using locally produced electricity. So that's a big boost for the country and the customer. And because of the subsidies, and because now EV is becoming very popular, customers are saving money more than, I would say, on an ICE vehicle. So it's expanding very, very well. And when I talk about just our bike and penetration of bike in the country, tier 2 and tier 3 cities are picking up very, very well. If I talk about even Bihar or small cities of Bihar, the kind of tractions coming from those smaller cities is amazing. And probably because of the longer commute. and spending a lot of time on a daily basis on the commute. So I think it's picking up very, very well, and it is giving a very good story and shape to the EV world.
Right. Anjali, I want to talk a bit more in terms of their recent deal also, Flora Max. Now, Indian commerce space that is expected to grow around 5 times to around $300 billion by 2030. How do you see the company actually taking advantage of this opportunity? And, should we expect more such deals coming in from your side?
Yeah, so B2B market now is picking up in India as well. Many of the companies are becoming aware about the EV penetration in the country, and they want their company and their employees to benefit out of it. For example, like Floramax, we recently they wanted for their employees. It's a apparel manufacturing company. Their employees were coming, also supervisors were coming from far away rural areas, and that could be a big benefit for the employees as well. And few months back, we were given at various locations to Adani as well. And, they have their power plants and they have the ports and all. So it makes sense for them to use within their company also all these EV vehicles. And bike being very popular, I would see a huge demand, especially for bike as well. And many other industries for their own use of employees, or they can be like a package for a discount package for EV purchase for their employees as well.
Anjali, thank you so much for joining in with us this afternoon on ET Now, and obviously talking about the demand in the EV space and what this subsidy actually means for the company. Thank you so much, Anjali, for joining in with us. That was the management of Ratan India Enterprises joining with us on the show. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere, because after the break, we'll be back and we'll be taking all at the stocks that have been buzzing in trade on research as well as on technicals.
Welcome back. Here tuned into Market Fatafat, where we are starting out with a countdown for all the stocks that are buzzing away in trade. And for that, we are joined by Amar Singh, who's the head advisory Angel One on the technicals. And from our research team, we are joined by Jinay. Hi, both of you. Welcome to Market Fatafat. So let's get started with all the stocks. Amar, you've picked out IND Swift Labs for us. Tell us, past 6 months, good moves. And in fact, the stock is trading, it's hovering around its 52-week high. Tell us, what is the upside that you see in the stock?
A very good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the show. So if you look at this particular stock, the stock has delivered some good returns. The stock is up by almost 35% in this quarter. And if we go back in time and look at the stock from a long-term perspective, so the stock at a point of time, I would say almost 18 years back, it used to trade as high as 300 odd levels, so somewhere around 296. So the stock has taken out some crucial zone of resistance earlier, because the high in December of 2010 was around 158, 160. So that has been taken out, and that also on significant volumes. So this is one stock has an upside. It needs to sustain above the crucial level. So somewhere around 180, 185 is going to be an important level to watch out for. Sustaining above that level, the stock has the potential to rally anywhere between 20 to 30% on the upside.
Okay, surely that's the view coming in on Swift Labs. But let's move on, talk about Zomato, because that's, I think we could call it the stock of the day, because given the market situation, how Zomato is moving is a very different trend. At one point of time, it was up as much as 19%. Strong set of numbers reported by the company yesterday. It was during market hours, around 3 p.m. did we see the numbers come out. Almost 4% uptick yesterday. Today itself, 19% uptick. Brokerages clearly giving it a thumbs up after the strong set of numbers that came in from the company. Now, specifically, I want to highlight in terms of the brokerages. Now, when you look at it, so many of them have hiked the target price for this. So CLSA has the highest target price amongst all of them. 350 rupees is the new target price versus for 240 rupees, 248 rupees previously. So yes, an 100 rupees increase in terms of the target price, and from those current levels also, they're expecting a further more upside coming in there. Goldman Sachs has given a target price of 280 rupees. Citi's new target price is 280 rupees, 278 rupees for Morgan Stanley. So all in all, the consensus target price is coming in somewhere at 260 rupees versus a 243 previously. obviously, before the numbers came in. GOV is expected to be plus 20% is what the company highlighted. They're expecting margins of food delivery to be in the 4 to 5% range in the next few quarters. A strong commentary as well as a district app launch is something they're watching out for. Listen in to what the management had to say in terms of their outlook going forward, as well as what Karan from Elara had to say about Zomato and the outlook.
We think that GOV growth of 20% plus we should be able to continue in the near term also. So to that extent, there might be, currently we're trending at 27-28% year-on-year growth. So that might fall a little, but by and large, don't see any specific concern on the demand side at this point, at least in our business.
Valuations are fair on a FY26 basis. In the food business, it's already trading at an EV/EBITDA of about 58 times. And if you look at the quick commerce business also, it's about 5 to 6 times EV sales. So it is largely there as far as valuations are concerned. But this is like a compounding story. And Blinkit and Zomato, both these companies for that matter, have always outperformed our guidance. And given the kind of trajectory they have seen in terms of track record over the last 2-3 years and the kind of strong guidance they have given, I think you have to give the benefit to the management that basis execution, you will see incremental upside over the near term also. The food business, is about 45 to 48% contribution. So that's a compounding story of about 30%. So that remains to be on a steady state. No big upgrades could be seen there beyond the point. But I think the big delta is going to be quick commerce. Currently, they're at about 38-40% market share. Let's say in the next year and a half, they get to a market share of 55 to 60%. They will be at a very strong commanding position in the quick commerce business as well, just as they are in the food business. And the quick commerce TAM is much bigger as compared to the food business. Quick commerce has got more margin levers as compared to the food business.
All right, so that is Zomato bucking the trend in today's trade, and what a run up and a great set of results coming in there. But another candidate that is buzzing away in trade, trading with gains of over 4% is TTK Prestige. Now here the news flow is that the board has approved a share buyback to raise up to 200 crores through tender offer route. Now the board of directors have approved a buyback of up to 16.66 lakh fully paid up equity shares of face value rupees 1 each of the company, representing up to 1.2% of the total paid up equity shares of the company at a price of 1,200 per equity share, payable in cash for an aggregate amount of up to 200 crore rupees on a proportionate basis through tender offer route. That's the word coming in by the company. And also the board has determined the record date for the proposed buyback as 14th of August 2024. So on the back of this buyback of 200 crore rupees, TTK Prestige is in focus today, trading with gains of 3.8% right now.
Okay, that is TTK Prestige, keeping an eye out on that. Let's move on and talk about Clean Sciences then. And Jinay, why is this in focus? Brokerage note or earnings?
Well, so Clean Sciences focus on the back of brokerage note. JM Financials have maintained their buy rating with a target price of rupees 1,760. What they believe is that new product capex will be providing a further runway for the long-term growth story for the company. If we talk about FY 2025 specifically, they say that growth will be driven by 3 newly commercialized HALs products. Also one pharma intermediary which will be commercializing in Q3 of FY 2025. So this will be driving FY 2025 growth. Also they believe that the company has a decent runway in terms for growth for at least next 4 to 5 years. They're expecting a sales CAGR of about 32% over next 3 years and a EPS CAGR of about 29% until FY 2027. On the back of this, if you look at the stock is currently buzzing up with the gains of about 4%.
All right, moving to you, Amar. Rani Wilmar is the stock that you picked out for us. I mean, this stock is firing on all cylinders, up almost 8.5%, but that is coming on the back of the demerger plans that Adani Group has for its FMCG arm, and it's seeing that spike up because of that. But on the charts, what are you penciling in for this stock?
Yeah, actually, if you look at this stock, Rani Wilmar, so the stock was trying to form a base because. If you look at it from a long-term perspective, the stock was in a clear downtrend from almost 850 levels to 300 odd levels, and then now we are seeing some pullback happening in the stock. And also what we are witnessing is that on the monthly chart, some of the technical indicators are very close to turning positive. So that's one. Secondly, on the weekly charts also, also we are seeing some sort of pullback happening. And over the last few trading sessions, we've seen some significantly higher volumes as compared to the average volumes over the last, maybe we can say 30 to 40 trading sessions. So that tells me that there is some buying interest which has definitely come in, and the stock has been able to breach earlier around 330, 340. That was acting as a zone of resistance, and the stock was in for consolidation between 310 and 340 on the upside. So that level is taken out. The stock is up today by almost 8 to 9%. It's around 380 odd levels. And this is one level where the stock could meet with some resistance, 380, 385 level. If that is taken out, then the stock could rally towards 415, 420 level. So this is one stock one can keep a close watch on.
Close eye on this, the resistance level where 385 around that level, and then could move up to 400 levels. So keep a close eye on Rani Wilmar. But let's move on, talk about Kalan Jewellers. That's the stock that we're keeping an eye out on, because Kalan Jewellers overall, when you look at it in the last few quarters, also has managed to outperform a Titan or a Senco Gold in terms of the numbers coming in. This time also they've managed to see a strong performance. So yes, opened up somewhere higher, but yes, now given up those gains, trading with cuts of 1.8%. What is the impact that we're watching out for would be in terms of custom duty. When we spoke to the management today, they said that the custom duty impact of that gold rate change, which that happened in the budget from 15% to 6%, that could impact inventory losses. 120 crores impact could come in, and that would be divided over Q2 and Q3. So near-term impact of that is what they are watching out for. But all in all, good set of numbers, 26% growth in terms of revenues. Overall profits of the company up by 24% as well. And margins have seen an increase this time because ad spends were a bit higher, but all in all, decent numbers. Listen into what the management themselves had to say in terms of the outlook of the company going forward and what is the trends looking like. Listen in.
Q2 has started off very well. July, the first 2.5 weeks were very good. SSGs were very similar to what we saw in Q1. And again, post the duty cut by the government, the momentum has further accelerated. Very good footfalls at the store. SSGs are very strong. But of course, that can be a short term because people come in immediately when they saw a gold price decrease. But we have very good momentum now at the stores, and Q2 also should do well is what we think.
All right, Amar, coming to you now. IEX, Indian Energy Exchange, is what you've picked out for us. Energy stocks have been in focus. But tell us, on the charts, what are you seeing for this counter?
I would say this is one stock which appears to be poised for a significant rally, because if you look at this stock, what we could witness that it was in for consolidation, and it stayed in a consolidation zone for quite long. I would say roughly around 2 years, and the stock was unable to breach the 170, 175 zone. Now we've seen the stock breach that level. Currently, it's trading around 196, 197, and it's breached its previous year's high also decisively. And if you look at it from a long-term perspective and intermediate-term perspective, the stock has a very strong and positive structure and foundation. So now the stock needs to sustain over the current levels, because the stock, if we go in recent times, so in the first week of July, the stock had reached almost 190, 192 levels, and then it had corrected all the way towards 160. Now again, it's reached that 190 level. So this is one stock where we could witness some real sharp move, because if we go back in time, the stock in 2022 had made a high of 272, and in 21 it had made a high of 318. So that means that there is more upside which is possible for the stock. Once it sustains above the 195, 200 levels, it could witness anywhere between 20 to 30% rally from those levels.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out over there on those levels for IEX. Today, among the top FNO gainers also, as you were watching out for, is IEX, holding on to gains of 3%. Let's pull up the charts of J&K Bank. That's the one also buzzing in trade, holding on to gains of almost 6% as of now. We did have an 18-hour story that's coming from Prakash as well, where he's saying that a big booster short has come in for J&K Bank, as sources are telling him about that government is making provisions of almost 8,000 crores as a special fund for the J&K state. For more details, let's go across to Prakash, who's standing by. Prakash, what is this latest update that you're picking up for Jammu and Kashmir state? And we're already seeing J&K Bank buzzing in trade.
Yes, we are learning from our sources that the central government has made a provision of rupees 7,900 crore as a special fund to the J&K government, the provision of a special fund has been made in the J&K budget to clear all the outstanding dues of J&K Bank. A very significant development coming in, and the financial assistance would be given to J&K Bank to clear its balance sheet. Along with that, the state government will adhere to all the repayment requirement to the bank. A very significant development coming in, as it is important to note that the dues have been owed by the state government for pension, salary payment and other expenses, which was long overdue, and it was affecting the financial health of the bank as well. Therefore, a special provision has been made. Therefore, it seems to be very positive development for the bank, as it will help in clearing its balance sheet to avoid action from the RBI.
All right, with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more stocks.